Elevated Grapes Podcast.
Elevated Grapes Podcast.
With your host, Sethi.
Your host, Sethi.
And Stylist Rashi Bindra.
It's time to get started.
Let's talk fashion, shall we? Alright, welcome to Elevated Grapes. I am your host, Sethi.
And I am your co-host and stylist, Rashi Bindra.
So on today's topic, we're going to actually spend some time interviewing each other, putting each other in the hot seat. You know, we do that with a lot of our hot pockets. I'm a little bit hungry, so there's food on my mind right now. And we are back. I've changed locations. Hopefully that makes a difference. Maybe it was in the location that I was in my house that it was a bit far from where the signal would reach. So hopefully this is better.
Hopefully.
Okay, so we're going to try this for the third time. Rashi's rant on subscription boxes. Continue, please.
They're not rants. They are my experience with subscription boxes, Mr. Backstreet Boy. And so like I was saying, and I'll go back to the fact that I was used to subscription boxes when it came out way back in the day. Like, this is like slightly over 10 years ago. The first, it's called Gloss or Glossy box, and I still have those boxes with me because I store stuff in them now. But back then, it was like 10, 12, or 15. I think it was like between $10 or $12. This was like really long time ago. And up to 6 to 7 full-sized items you would get, and they were a bit more beauty-based. So you would fill out a survey, and they were brands, and they'd send that to you every month. So every month you had something, you know, coming in, and it wasn't very costly. And I remember I really enjoyed it and I loved it because I'm like, I don't have to go to a drugstore or to a base and a huge, you know, cosmetic line and all of those things, because I was getting stuff that I wanted in my box at that time.
Was this one fashion based?
Started. Beauty based.
Because
that time there weren't really fashion boxes that time. Like beauty had started the trend. There weren't even like the socks or the clothing. Like all of that came a bit later, and it took a while. From what I recall, and if I'm incorrect, you like whoever's listening, please feel free to like reach out in comments and like let me know this. But when the beauty box, gloss box came out, they were one of the first ones to start the subscription box trend. And for the longest time, it was them that was dominating that market. And slowly other types of boxes started coming into play. But I think it was only like the last 5 years that it really became kind of like a mandatory thing in most beauty, fashion, sports, grooming companies as well.
When you say mandatory, meaning subscription boxes and that model became mandatory?
Yeah, like there's a lot of companies that incorporated that model and that system, regardless of what they're doing. Like, for example, if you take Rachel Zoe, she has her own clothing line, she has her empire, she's known as the celebrity stylist, but she also created like the Rachel Zoe box, which is like a luxury curated box of style that comes 4 times a year, right?
No, I understand that, but when you say mandatory, like what do you mean by mandatory? Like how is it mandatory for a company to do that? I
shouldn't say mandatory, but
okay. I thought you were referring to something specific. That's why I wanted to make sure.
No. What I was, I think, trying to get to, and it's the wrong choice of words on my end, is that most companies started adopting that model, especially when they're in clothing and fashion, to be more relevant and keep having other markets know their products.
So you were getting into Rachel Zoe, and I think, you know, let's expand on this a little bit and look at a couple of different subscription box / you know, styling options that are available through these different companies. So Rachel Zoe was one that you were referring to, and you mentioned that you had some experience with it. What are your thoughts on what they provide?
So I've not personally used her boxes. I just drool over them. one day.
Yeah.
So the way she's done it, she has two membership options. One is like a VIP membership that you prepay for the year and you get additional perks and stuff, and the other is like a pay per month type of thing. And so that's how they lower the price of the bots. So per month it's like $100, but and the items are clearly worth a lot more.
And that's
But you only
four
get the
times a
bots.
year?
Yeah, but you only get the bots 4 times a year because it's more on a high scale luxury branded items.
So what kind of items do you get in their box?
So I believe she has like perfume, jewelry, um, like an actual outfit as well that is tailored to your size and need and things like that. But it's more also on a seasonal change. So I believe like the reason that she's doing it, 4 times a year is because we have 4 seasons and they change. So those like it items of that season,
Yeah, to mark the season. I get it.
is what you get. Exactly. So yeah.
So would you say, given what they do, like it's hitting a niche, or is it more focused on sort of the general public? Because again, Rachel Zoe, I know, does things quite specific and with a target market in mind. So what is
So
your thoughts on what the target of that is?
Oh, hers is definitely a niche market. It is, women who want to be in trend in style and have that season it items. And obviously they want luxury items. They don't want the Old Navy's and H&M's and Zara items. They want to stand out from the crowd. They want to be different, and they want to be the trendsetters, right? So that's her market.
$400 a year for what you're describing doesn't sound like a lot of money. I mean, for someone who can afford to
No,
spend that. But I mean, but if it's luxury, I mean, what kind of items do they typically provide?
So like you'll you'll get a handbag, and then you'll get like a branded let's say beauty products, and you'll get like sarons, for example. If if we were to look into a summer box, for example, just the handbag alone is like approximately $159, right? Then let's say some other item is about $50. Then another item is like $200. So already what you've paid for the year is within a box.
Is covered with one item. So I know of some friends that subscribe to different subscription boxes, and this seems to be part of the package or the value, in that you're getting products that are worth more than the value or the price you're paying for that month or for that specific package. Like, for example, if you're paying $100, there's usually something worth a couple $100 in there. Maybe maybe there's 4 items, but there's one thing that's more worth more than the value of that monthly cost or that annual cost or whatever it is that you're paying for. So is this, from your understanding, the trend across the different subscription box models, or is this specific to the luxury brands?
No, I think if we really look at other boxes, that trend of you're paying less than what you would pay on a retail forefront is essentially what the trend is. And there's also to curate the bots according to your needs as much as possible. So the whole idea of this is to give a personalized experience and feel to it.
Gotcha. Okay,
right?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So what are some of your other favorite ones that you know about and that you like to sort of research and have some background on?
So there's also the Trunk Club, which is essentially a service,
basically, right?
Yeah. So yeah, that's so basically theirs.
So theirs is a little bit different. It's not specifically a subscription box. But it's their model, which there's a couple other companies that do similar types of service. It is not exactly a subscription box. It's slightly different than what a subscription box model is.
So them and a lot of fashion boxes have a very similar model where the stylist will pick items based on your quiz or your client profile in this case or whatever. They'll send you the bots. They'll apply a $25 styling fee to it because of their time or what they feel has been credited to you. You pay for what you keep, and usually that styling fee that's applied to that box
Mm-hmm.
goes towards your like purchases. Or if you choose not to keep anything and you return the box within that week or whatever, you just pay the $25 styling fee, which is more or less a standard amount in these fashion boxes.
Right. Yeah. It seems to be 25 is the styling fee, which is, I mean, to get the service that they're providing and access to their wardrobe, so to speak, of clothing items is not a bad investment to make, just to have someone personally handpick items. It's like a personal shopper, really. It's they're looking at the information you provide them, the profile that they're creating for you, and then they're choosing items that they feel will fit that profile. Now, at the end of the day, obviously, you may not like every piece that they send over to you. I think that's why they have the return policy within a certain time frame. I know Nordstrom's Trunk Club does it. You have to return it within 5 business days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you want to return anything from there.
And I mean, it's really, if you think about it, $25 is nothing for what it would take for you to go to one, depending where you live, let's say pay for parking, pay for spending your day there, shopping in the crowd, and trying things on and deciding. What
Well,
I
a lot of
liked about
people, and
this
the value
though,
also, that a lot of people don't know how to, and we've had this discussion numerous times on our show, but a lot of people don't know how to style themselves and how to pick clothing that suits their lifestyle, their job, their personality, all those sort of things that we've discussed in the past. And so having that assistance, even if it's virtual, to some people is a huge help. And for $25, like I said, that's not a big investment to make. If you're going to spend the money on the clothes anyways, why not know what clothes will be suitable for you?
well, yeah, and that $25 goes towards your clothes anyways as well,
Exactly.
right? If you decide to keep it. But I mean, what's really good about subscription boxes during this time, like during the uncertainty about going into a mall or going into a huge department store or going into a store and shopping, is that that you're getting these things sent to you, you can try them at home. I would say if you like them, keep them. If you are going to return them, and I know a lot of stores have taken certain protocols on returning items.
Mm-hmm.
So especially at this time, I feel that subscription boxes is going to be more of a norm or more of something that a service that people will get comfortable with versus risking going into stores. Now, I'm not saying that people are not going to go into stores and not shop, because people are dying to leave their houses. I'm not denying that, but once that desire leaves and judgment kicks in, and you realize that overdoing it by going out also, that you're then risking having another wave of a lockdown happening, I feel like subscription boxes will be the safest way to shop, more than even just shopping online. You really are getting that feel, that vibe, that experience of what you desire, right? So,
well, that 100% is accurate. And I think also, just if you add to that, a lot of people find it difficult to purchase clothing items without having the touch, the feel, and understanding that piece of art, that piece of clothing. Because a lot of people, it's an investment. Like, you're not buying, necessarily cheap articles of clothing. So for some people, it's an investment. They're buying stuff that they want them to last a while. They want to know the feel of it. They want to try it on. Whereas in lieu of being able to do that, because you're not necessarily going to the stores as regularly, a subscription box helps to overcome that a little bit, because the stylist that you're working with is handpicking based on your profile. So it kind of makes you, and plus you got the return, obviously, and you can get rid of it if it's not something that you fully are comfortable with or if it suits you. So Nordstrom does provide that 5-day return policy on theirs. Another good one is Frank and Oak. So there's a very
before
similar...
we jump into Frank and Oak, it's kind of my turn to ask you, Batsy Boy, a couple of things.
Hold on, we're in the middle of subscription boxes. Why am I being asked questions all of a sudden?
You interviewed me. I can't interview you.
Rashi's all about cutting topic and going against the grain. Go ahead.
When have I ever gone with the grain, guys? Come on.
I don't even think you know what the grain is.
And that's okay. It's called living life.
All right. So what's your questions for me?
Okay. So why did you choose this particular way of cutting your hair?
because I didn't have a choice.
Didn't you like get some fancy tools to cut your hair and look at those style videos and stuff?
I did. It didn't work.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm having way too much fun with your haircut. I can't even be serious. This is a win for me.
It is what it is. Like I said, I'm trying something new.
Like I
So
said,
sometimes it works, sometimes it
that
doesn't.
street's back. That street's back.
If you look at it just
So
head on,
now,
it doesn't look so funny. But when I turn to the side, like that, you can see
yeah,
the
no,
undercut here.
so like when we were like setting up earlier, I was like, "What's up with your hair?" And then and then you turned. I was like, "Whoa!"
It's funny looking. I can't deny it. It is quite funny looking.
Oh, I love this. This really made my day today. It's been a great weekend for me so far.
I cannot wait. I
Um,
cannot wait for the barber shop to open.
yeah, you need it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now as a guy and as a stylist, so from what I know of you in this time that I've known you, is that you're very particular about how you dress, how you look, how you match your accessories. Um, and how are you, I guess, dealing with the whole I can't really shop now? Like are you turning into a like are you turning to shop online for your stylist eye and views of dressing?
So I peruse quite regularly just because I want to see what's going on and what the market trends are. But I haven't really purchased a lot of clothing since, I mean, we're in May now, or almost June, since, almost the beginning of the year, since around February or March. So, I mean, I did a bunch of shopping before March, but since sort of I've been in isolation, I haven't really done any clothing shopping. I bought some accessories to go with some of the suit blazers and that sort of thing, but it's just more, because I found good deals on them. And accessories, again, I'm comfortable purchasing without having, as we were talking about earlier, the look and the feel, because I know I have certain articles of clothing that they'll go with, such as brooches and lapel pins and those sort of things that it can go with certain articles without having to try it on. But I haven't really done a lot of online shopping as much as I thought I would, or as much as I usually do, even in the past. Like I purchased blazers online. I purchased bombers online.
Mm-hmm.
I purchased t-shirts. I won't go and buy a full suit or statement or even classic items. Like
Mm-hmm.
a good knitted or something like that, because I want to try that on if it's an investment piece. But things that are a bit more trend, not as expensive, and things I can probably wear for a couple of seasons, and then if I get rid of it. So if it doesn't work, it's not a big deal. But I haven't really done much of that right now, just because again I'm not really sure. Just like I guess most people, when and how I'm going to be able to use some of these things again. So I'd rather pool my resources and turn the energy elsewhere right now.
So where are you turning that energy?
Like I'm just doing things. I mean, rather than I do spend a lot of money on clothes, and generally speaking, mind you, I haven't stepped out of my house for 3 months, so the need for additional clothing has been quite low. So that energy is going towards things around the house, and I think that's what a lot of people are doing right now, is focusing their energy on you know I've purchased a barbecue, I've purchased shelving that I've had to fix in my house. I've done other things that I've been needing to do for the house, because you're spending obviously a lot more time here. So that's where my resources are going. They're not being spent
Mm-hmm.
on clothes as much as I would have in the past, or maybe doing in the future. I know when things are a bit different. Just using this time to use those resources to things that are needed for everyday living right now.
Have you had any experience with the whole subscription box purchasing model and all of those things?
I haven't actually. I've thought about it a number of times, and there's the accessory ones, and there's one that does specifically socks, and there's one that like Frank and Oak does styling with the whole outfit. Again, I'm a bit, as you mentioned, really particular with
Mm-hmm.
the things that I buy, so I do like the touch and feel, and I do, as far as I'm concerned, have a bit of a style sense. So for me to want to like something and purchase it, I'm going to want to be very comfortable with it before I pick it up, versus using someone else's opinion necessarily. That's probably why I haven't done it. And then to me, the accessory ones, they're once every month. I think there are most of them. My challenge with those is that, again, like I have a lot of friends that use them and really like them, and they're happy with the stuff that they get. But for me, it's you don't know what you're going to get and what it's going to match with in your closet. And sometimes, yeah, even when I go shopping, I'll buy certain things that I may not have a need for yet, but I'll create the need around a specific item. But
Mhm.
that's on a choice where I look at an item, I like it, I'll purchase it. And I'm like, you know what, I can build an outfit around, this t-shirt. I can build an outfit around this shirt or this sweater or this tie. Whereas if I'm getting this ties on a regular basis and I'm using them, without a specific need, if something comes in that I don't have, the right outfit for, I may not want to use them. And if I get, if I'm doing a subscription box where it's, I'm getting 12 of those, and out of those, maybe I get 6 that I'm happy with, and 6 that I don't know that, I'd rather go out and buy something myself, be happy with it, know I can build something around it. Or alternatively, I have an outfit in mind already when I'm purchasing it. So I just don't like the randomness of it because it's not really fitted to my closet.
You don't like the element of surprise.
No, I don't mind the element of surprise if it's 1 time or 2 times. But if I'm paying on a monthly basis for this, and I'm going to get various things that now I'm going to think about, okay, if I get 6 things I can use and I like, and 6 things I don't have a need for, and then, now I got to go and create 6 outfits around this, and, it becomes a whole other project. So I'd rather be particular about what I'm buying and then build the outfits around what I like versus having to build an outfit around something just because it's part of a subscription that I'm getting. So again, not to take away from it, because I think it's a great concept and a great idea that a lot of people use and benefit from. I have a lot of friends using, for example, the subscription boxes that cater towards accessories, and they love it, which is great. I just don't know if it's for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Knowing your personality, I don't see you being a subscription box type of guy. Like, yeah, I think I'm more of that one who would be like, oh, okay, cool, I can make this and that happen, and like I said, free spirit.
I would. Most of these subscription boxes, especially the accessory ones, like they're geared towards like, formal wear, like ties and watches.
But I mean, prior
blazers.
to
not blazers. Sorry.
Prior to COVID,
mm-hmm.
But prior to COVID, you had so many events and functions that you did, have a bit of a formal look to the way you dress and stuff. So
yeah, but then I'd rather if I want something different, and let's just say that I've worn a blazer a couple of times, and I've exhausted the stuff I have at home that would go with that blazer, then I'd rather go out and find something on my own to purchase to wear with it if I want to rock it a different way or add a different punch to it, right? Whereas let's just say that they're sending me a subscription model box and I get 6 of them and none of them go with anything in my closet, then they hold no value for me. Like I can't use them unless I go build 6 new outfits around it, right? And again,
yeah, that didn't inspire you for that.
Of course, but then I'm forced to build 6 outfits versus me having to go build, take 3 different things and build 5 different outfits with it if I'm going to buy my own things and colors that I like and textures that I like and prints that I like.
So, but now, to your point, let's say if you looked at a subscription box like Frank and Oak, now what these guys do, and they call it like a style plan essentially, is that you get, I think, about 4 items in the box, and you can preview the box before they send it to you, so you know exactly what you're getting. So that takes away that element of surprise. You've given them your information, and then if it's sent to you and you love the items, yes, you keep them. If you don't love the items, you send them back, and all you're just paying is for their styling fee, right? I mean, it's not really bad if you think about it.
No, so let's talk about this. So the subscription model where it's a monthly accessory is very different than a Frank and Oak type of model. So Frank and Oak type of model, I would potentially look at, again, because of exactly what you just said. You get an option to look at the item before they ship out to you to make sure it's not already in your closet or you don't have something similar. And Frank and Oak, frankly, has very high quality stuff. And they're good investment pieces as well. Like their clothing is nice, they're stylish. They follow trends, but they're classic men's pieces on the men's side. At least I'm familiar with their men's items. They're classic men's pieces that you can use through seasons, through time, through generations. It's not necessarily it's gonna be in this year and out next year. They do have a lot of good classic pieces. So Frank and Oak is a type of model that I would definitely look at, and you're not bound by a monthly subscription. You can set a schedule. Let's just say that you want them to send you something every 3 months or every month or every couple of weeks. Or once you've done your style profile with them, you can go ahead and say, I want to purchase as and when I need it, and then just go back in because they already have your style profile built, and you can tell them to build, a certain type of look for you, and they'll create it and send it to you, and then you know what you're getting. So yes, that's the type of model I would look at and subscribe to. I just haven't done it and don't find a need right now in this specific time, because again, those are clothes that I don't need extra clothes. Also, as I mentioned, I shop a lot, so I do have a lot of clothes. It's not like I'm in a need for clothes. When I go shopping now, it's more out of fun and desire than need, because my closet is throwing up on me. I don't really have room for anything else unless I throw stuff out.
Yeah, that's where we are different. With my life, I actually keep my closet as minimal as possible.
Yeah, I try to purge every so often too, but it's a little bit difficult because there's I've also purchased a lot of classic items that are everlasting in my closet, and there's no real reason for me to get rid of them because I can use them over and over. I mean, as long as I stay similar weight or that sort of thing, I know my body doesn't change too much. I mean, I have a lot of use for them, and they're good pieces that are high quality and won't break down easily on me. Because again, they're items that I like and I know I would use over and over. So I didn't cheap out their expensive items to keep for the long term. So once I'm replenishing, and if we're in this COVID situation for a fairly long period of time and this continues, and I do need to replenish, and I don't feel comfortable going to the stores or trying on certain clothing items that other people have tried on and that sort of thing, then maybe I would subscribe to something like this where I can get some of those more classic items, and when I do need to purge and get rid of some other items.
Well, we'll all be curious to know if and when you actually try one of these boxes. Are there
I do like Frank and Oaks quite a bit.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely touch base when you try them. What about any other boxes? Is there some that you've seen, like especially that are now more focused on men versus just the versus just them in general? Is there anything specific that pops in your mind that you would want to try, or you feel they have like a great model?
So I do like, we talked about it a little bit earlier, and we did a little bit of research on them actually together, but Menlo Club is really interesting. They are more of a regular monthly subscription. They send 3 items curated based on, again, a style profile that they build for you. They just partner with brands. So the reason I haven't, again, it's an interesting concept because they do the standard monthly subscription outside of the accessories. But they partner with specific brands, and I'm just not as familiar with the brands that they partnered with, and that's probably why at this stage, I mean, I'd have to do a lot more research on those brands because I don't own a lot of clothes from any of those brands. So again, I don't know, their fit. If it's a small, how does it look? Because smalls at a Zara and small at if you buy something from the Bay are very different, right? So again, like I don't know how their clothing fits. So I think with them, I'd have to do a lot more research on their brands before I subscribe to something like that. And that's why, like I said, the Frank and Oak as a you can purchase one time, you can purchase 3 times, you can purchase monthly, you can purchase every other month, but you can, you're not obligated to a monthly subscription if you don't want to.
Yeah, and that's one of the qualities also that actually makes you a great personal stylist, is because you can relate to the everyday person as well as people who have different taste in clothing. And I think that's why you're always in demand for your styling. Even with COVID, I know people were waiting for you to help them.
Yeah. And I still get the calls, right? Like, when we're going shopping, I'm like, well, when the mall's open, and B, when I feel safe enough that I'm comfortable going into a mall. So let's just take a quick break because we're just about to come off on cutoff time here on our recordings, and we'll be right back in a couple minutes. And we are back. So yeah, I do still get calls of, from folks about when we're going back out, but obviously with the current situation, we're not going to be doing that anytime soon, I don't think. Another one that I do like it's a bit in, they've built a big name for themselves is Stitch Fix.
Yeah, they have.
They're really interesting. They start their styling profile at $20 versus, Frank and Oak versus a Nordstrom. They start at $20. It's a little bit cheaper. It's almost like a survey profile that they create, and they send you 5 pieces of clothing and an accessory item with
Mm-hmm.
returns. And the cool thing about them, they do men, women, children, but they do plus size and they do
Yeah.
and they're maternity friendly, which is really great because they're opening themselves up to a market and being sensitive to people's needs in different situations. So I do like the fact that they open that up a little bit.
Yeah, they've pretty much hit, I think except for children's, they've pretty much hit all the main markets.
Yeah, and you can set up orders based on, you can do monthly, you can, just like, Frank and
Mm-hmm.
Oak and, or, the Trunk Club, you can do monthly, you can do quarterly, you can do it on a as need basis when you want to. You can skip single shipments if you've set up a schedule. If you want to cancel one in between, you can skip them. And it's point and click shopping, and and you can let's just say, for example, like there's a specific sweater or shirt that I've liked, and I've gone through and I've worn it. It stays in your profile that you purchased this shirt in the past, and you can rebuy that same item again. So again, they make it really user friendly and really personal that way. So I do like their model because it seems like customer service seems to be their strong suit, in pun intended with the word suit, but their strong suit in their model.
Yeah, no, they have they actually have a really, really great model, and they are very, very popular on the subscription bots world. Now, just for the sake of asking, do you think subscription boxes take away from people having a one-on-one customer experience when they enter a store or a retail space? And the reason I'm saying this because even with malls slowly opening and with all the new changes in effect, and with the and now with retail just being on a front store facing aspect, and even with those changes in effect, do you think subscription boxes have a high staying power, or are they taking away that personal experience that people still want and need?
Well, I think subscription boxes are not a replacement for the in-person experience. And we had a conversation with Frank from Esco Folders last week, and really, I mean, you're not going to get the Frank level service off of an online experience any which way you look at it. Like, you're not going to get the one-to-one. You're not going to get Frank's experience. You're not going to get Frank's, understanding of how certain clothes fit and look. Like, I've taken clients and friends to him too. I know everybody has different body shapes, so he knows how to build your suit around your body shape. If your shoulders, slouch a little bit more, if your shoulders are upright, like, he knows how to build your suit cut so that it fits and it sits properly and doesn't look awkward on you. And that's why you have that experience of working with someone like a Frank. He's a stylist,
Right.
but he's also a bit of a tailor too, in the sense that he knows body shapes and how to work with them. So I don't think you're going to get that level of customization experience and customer service that you would with a one-to-one. I'm a big proponent, even at work, and obviously in our stuff that we do and in events. I mean, I'm a big proponent of doing things in person and having that relationship and getting to know someone on a personal level. And I think you can't, any industry that's online or e-commerce based, a lot of these companies like the Frank and Oaks, Stitch Fix, they're doing a very good job of creating a really good customer experience for their clientele, but I don't think you're ever going to be able to hit that one-on-one. So it's not to take away with what they're doing, because given the environment, you're trying to make it as personal as possible in that situation. Like,
Yeah.
Menlo's club, the men's club that we were talking about, if you look at their website, it's so well done. Like, they're basically creating that as a hub or as a community for you as a shopper. It's not just, here's your items, leave. They have blogs, they have a community, a membership base, so you can talk to other folks in there. You can read the blogs. They talk about like lifestyle, health, they talk about everything. It's not just clothing. So, they want to make it they're trying to create an experience through an online source. So again, they're doing really great things given that it's an e-commerce based setup. So they're not just making you seem like a number or a person that, just sticking behind a computer screen. So I do think that there's great customer service being shown through a lot of these companies, and they've done tons of research, and they're building these based on trying to create that sort of experience. But I don't think you're ever going to be able to hit the one-to-one relationship that you can, and it goes not just with online, but if you look at as we talked about last time, big box retailers with, you know, staff that's not as seasoned in, for example, styling, you know, you're not going to get the same experience there that you would with a boutique shop and someone like Frank. And I'm using his as an example because he was just on our recent show, but someone like that, or Cassius from Mr. Kaizen, like, you know, these guys, they build their whole premise around getting to know the customer and being a value add for that customer. You know, they build that relationship. So when that customer comes in, it's like walking into not a shop, but to their friend's place, and someone who knows their style, knows their lifestyle, and can style an outfit based on who they are. Where you're not going to even get that from a big box retailer, and potentially from these e-commerce retailers, it's going to be a lot more challenging to build that same sort of experience.
No, yeah, and that's actually a really great way of answering this, because I mean, I do agree with you. It's just a thought that I did want to put out there for, you know, listeners who may have the same or a very similar question on their mind. And
yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna just cut in because I'm gonna expand on the same thing. It's the same reason that you have people coming to you to be styled, and vice versa, people coming to me to be styled. It's the one-to-one relationship and us understanding them. Like, you know, I don't own a shop, neither do you. You know, we go to our partners that we work with, whether it's, you know, an Esco or whatever the case, or even a big box retailer, but they're depending on us to take them into the big box retailer and find their wardrobe for them. So whether it's a Zara or an H&M or whatever the case, depending on budget and style, you know, they can go into the shop themselves and ask a store clerk to help them. Like, hey, this is what I'm looking for. But they rely on our expertise. And again, it goes back to that same level of service that a boutique shop owner would add. And I think that's where we as stylists come in and say, hey, we can add this value to your shopping experience, even if it's not a boutique shop. You know, you can still get that. We're helping them to use their comfort zone in the shops that they're comfortable with to help build their wardrobe, because they may not know how to pick out items that would be appropriate for them or fit their lifestyle or their needs. And now if you couple that and you work that in conjunction, like I've taken clients over, as I said to Frank, and a couple other boutique shops that I work with regularly, and, you know, but my clients and friends that I work with to do this, they depend on your reliability to do that research and know these places ahead of time, so they don't have to look out for them, because that's what your role is as their stylist.
Yeah, I was actually going to get to any last thoughts or any final thoughts on the topic of subscription boxes and the role of styling, but I think you kind of already just, like, you know, you just like slid into that topic, like how you like to just slide into your days. So
I don't know what that means, or we're going to talk about this afterwards. I don't know what you just referenced, but I think that's an off-camera conversation.
So for those who like are listening, you know, times when we chat, like during the week, I'll be like, so, you know, like, how's your day going? So like, or like, how's your morning? And, you know, it's your co-host, so you're always just like making sure like things are great. I'm good, just easing into my day, just sliding into my day. So I'm like, oh geez, I'm
I've used that multiple times, because I do like to, I know, in this new environment, you know, because I'm not rushing in to leave home to go to work and all that kind of stuff, I do like to slide and ease into my day.
Slide and ease into your day.
You know, check my emails and then ease into my day. So yes, it's very true. You definitely hit the nail on the head with that. Good catch.
So yeah, any other thoughts do you have on this?
So definitely, I think there's value in a lot of these services. You know, they especially for those that don't have an eye or don't have time or don't have someone they can turn to help style them. You know, going in and talking to a store clerk is a little bit different than using a style profile that some of these online styling sites provide for you, or if you have someone like a Frank in your repertoire that you can go to their shop and they can build it. I mean, they do stuff on, you know, virtually too, or if you have, you know, stylists like myself or Rashi in your contact list, we can help with that too, even virtually. But I think for someone who doesn't want to think, wants to get things that, you know, are either trendy or classic, depending on what you're looking for, you should do your research on the type of subscription model you look for. You know, it does provide a great resource for that. So I do think they're worthwhile, and I think there's a place in the market for them. may not be something that I would subscribe to, but I think for a lot of people that want to have the no thinking process where someone or a company does it for you, it's a great model. And the convenience and delivery to your house is amazing, and the return policies usually are pretty good too. So I think for example, Frank and Oak right now during COVID, they're doing a 30-day return policy, which is incredible. So it gives you ample time to be comfortable
to
with
try
absolutely.
and be comfortable. Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure.
So I do think that there's a good place for them, and I think that they serve a part of the market, and there's a clientele that would benefit from something like this.
Well, so here you have it. Sethi's last words, his final words on our podcast today, with and his thoughts on subscription boxes. We've obviously switched roles here, and yeah, that took him by surprise too.
Feels weird to be on the side, not gonna lie.
So, and that's it, and that's what we have for today. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we cannot wait to see you next week. This is your co-host and stylist Rashi Bindra, and
Your Host Sethi. We'll see you next week, guys. Thank you.
We'll see you next week, guys. Bye.